Hi there, Nick Troiano here. We all know that our political system is in disrepair, but so too is our country, quite literally. The American Society for Civil Engineers rated our infrastructure a D+ in 2013. From bridges to broadband, from public transportation to energy transmission, our infrastructure is lagging behind other countries' development and is holding back our economic potential. Here in Pennsylvania, 57% of our roads are rated poor or mediocre quality. Now I can attest to that. I've driven over 15,000 miles so far in this campaign. The state of our roads costs the average motorist about $340 a year in repairs or in maintenance. Now, Democrats and Republicans alike both value high-quality infrastructure because in the short term, it can create jobs, and over the long term, it can increase our national competitiveness and economic productivity. Yet politics stands in the way of our country being able to dedicate the necessary amount of resources in an efficient and an effective way to meet our infrastructure needs. For example, the Highway Trust Fund we know is on an unsustainable path. Since 2008, the trust fund exceeded its dedicated user fee revenue by $54 billion. That's because one of its main sources of revenue, the gas tax, hasn't been raised in over 20 years and is not tied to inflation. Now the Highway Trust Fund has a projected shortfall of $170 billion over the next decade. So what has Congress done about it? Well, before heading off on their 5-week vacation, they decided to kick the can down the road. They used a budget gimmick to close about an $11 billion shortfall in the Highway Trust Fund to make it operational for the next 10 months. Representative Tom Marino voted in favor of this political maneuver. We not only need a long-term solution to the Highway Trust Fund, we also need an expanded strategy for infrastructure investment in our country. Now, one idea is to create a national infrastructure bank. That's one of the proposals that's in my new policy paper that's focused on economic growth and mobility. That same American Society for Civil Engineers said it would take $3.6 trillion to bring our infrastructure up to standards by 2020. Now that's a lot of money, but the cost of inaction is even greater. Foregone improvements and deferred maintenance will not only impose an opportunity cost on foregone economic development, but it will also impose direct costs, estimated at $200 billion a year, if we simply do the same repairs or improvements down the road and wait for continued deterioration. An infrastructure bank can be part of the solution here. It'd be a standalone entity funded by the federal government, accountable to the federal government, that would leverage additional private investment to finance qualified infrastructure projects by making loans, loan guarantees, grants, bonding to state governments and local governments, and also to public-private partnerships. These projects would be evaluated on their merit, based on various criteria such as user demand, economic impact, environmental impact, job creation, in the context of broad national goals set by the Congress, such as reducing highway congestion or expanding internet connectivity. An infrastructure bank can maximize our return on our tax dollars and drastically improve American infrastructure. One similar $50 billion proposal in the Congress is called the Partnership to Build America Act. It has 75 co-sponsors, 36 Democrats and 39 Republicans. Our Congressman Tom Marino is not one of them, but if elected, I will be. Now, I welcome your thoughts and comments in the section below, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.